All right, we're live officially. It has been a while, guys. I'm here. I'm alive. I'm gonna try to keep a straight face. We are being serious. Serious face. My serious face is on. Because we're about to read Serious Face. No, we're not about to read Serious Face. We're about to read this book. It's called Pussy. Can't make this shit up. My friend gave me this. They were like, you gotta read this book. And so it's been a while since I've been here reading, and I really want to make it a habit to get back into reading every single day. So hopefully you guys will see me more often. No need to watch it now. You know I'll be here. So I'll post this video officially on my YouTube channel. So if it gets taken down YouTube, it's on Instagram as well. I don't know too much about the laws and copyright laws, but we don't really do this for the views. We just do it to build and better ourselves and try to help with our public speaking, our pronunciation, and build a healthy community around reading again, because I think that's a very important skill. So enough about that. We're going to jump right into it because we don't have a lot of time today. We're going to start with the introduction. This is called Pussy, a Reclamation. Don't know if I'm going to butcher her name. No, I actually do. I'm going to butcher her name. It's by Regina Thomas Sawyer. Thomas Sawyer. That's probably how you pronounce it. Regina Thomas Sawyer. That's what the book looks like. I'm live on Instagram, and YouTube. Okay, for those of you watching me on YouTube and want to watch me on Instagram, my Instagram is Jacob, Jacob, all one word, by the way, Jacob Devon, Devann, Devon. Doesn't matter how you pronounce it, but Jacob Devann. And if you're watching me on Instagram, check me out on YouTube. That's the one who cares, but instead of saying ONE, it's just the number one. So jumping right into it, nonetheless, let's just read the back to give you an idea what this book is. Are we just reading about pussy, or is it deeper than that? I hope so, because I'll be disappointed in the friend who gave me it if I'm just reading about pussy. Okay. Praise for pussy. Straight face. Talk about a tour de force. I hope I'm pronouncing that as well correctly. Tour de force. TOURDEFORCE. I'm sure that's Latin or French for something. I am transfixed by the depth, humor, and game-changing wisdom in this book. And that's why I'm reading it. I'm reading it for this quote-unquote game-changing wisdom. Right? That's what we're all about here. That's what we care most about, is wisdom. Regina is one of the most profound and provocative thought leaders in the world today. Let this book change your life in the way it has changed mine. This is from the foreword by Christina Northrup, MD, the New York Times bestselling author of Goddess Never Age. Here's another quote. For years, Regina Thomas Sawyer has devoted herself to women, to awakening their sensuality and their life force. This book is the call to reconnect with the most vital, holy force in the world, your pussy. It's time now. Serious face. Eve Ensel, Tony Award-winning playwright, performer, and activist author of the Vagina Monologues. That's another thing she was telling me about, the Vagina Monologues. That's like a Broadway play or something. And In the Body of the World. Another quote, there's only 3 more, so bear with me. Actually, there's 4 more. Regina's work has been revolutionary for me. Her research experience and guidance are essential for any woman who yearns to embody her full power. These are big promises. Not only to embody her full power, but her full strength and happiness. This is a book that can and will change your life. We'll see about that. That was from Marie Forleo, founder of B School and creator of Marie TV. Never heard of it. Just being honest. Ever so often, there is a fresh breakthrough voice that births a revolution in how we think, act, and feel. Regina Thomas Sawyer sorry for butchering your last name, is that voice. And that was from Chris Carr, New York Times bestselling author. Okay, here's another one. Ladies are about to pledge allegiance to your greatest power. Regina Thomas Hoyer work is fueling a revolution of pleasure. I don't agree that we should be hedonistic and seek pleasure, but I'm staying on the fence for this. I'm going to at least read the book. Pussy is a must-read for all women. Regina's words and wisdom give us permission to accept pleasure and awaken the dormant parts of our being. This book clears shame, awakens inspiration, and guides you to trust yourself. Thank you, Regina. We need you. Hopefully this isn't a manual for sluts, but we will see. Here we go. It just may be the most pejorative. That's a good word. Where are my highlighters at? I think I'm going to start highlighting again. Can't find my highlighter off the top of my shelf here, but we'll use a pen for now, a colored pen, and we'll definitely be more prepared next time with the highlighter. I probably shouldn't have highlighted that. It's not even my book. My friend let me borrow this book. Sorry if you're watching, Jenny. I apologize for butchering your book. No more highlighting. No more sticky notes. This isn't my book. I'm just borrowing it. It just may be the most pejorative word in the English language. It's the ultimate salacious smack to a woman's dignity, used to hurt, humiliate, and dehumanize. No one calls you a pussy when they want to tell you how radiant you look, how capably you work, or what an inspiring life you led. That's about to change. In this remarkable book, Regina Thomasheyer, founder of Mama Gina's School of Womenly Arts, sorry, I don't know why that was a tongue twister, reclaims the word for what is rightly is. Reclaims the word for what it rightly is, the highest of all possible compliments, a sacred living prayer. This is getting deep already. Let's see where this is going. Feel free to leave a comment if you're watching and you wanna, if you want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Participate? No. Can't think of the word, but doesn't really matter. If you just want to participate with the video and, I don't know, interact with the video, feel free to leave a comment. I'll get back to you. Every page I read, I'll look up for comments. Pussy has been written to reacquaint you with your own power source, both figuratively and literally. Drawing of Mama Gina's 25 years of research into women's history, experience, and potential, you'll ramp up your clitoracy. This book sucks already. Clitoracy? Really? And learn to awaken a part of yourself you've been taught to repress or even despise. You'll see that pussy is anything but pornographic. It's actually the seat of all feminine power and pleasure. And you'll discover how a woman's sensual awareness is critical for her spiritual, intellectual, and emotional health. In these pages, Mama Gina reveals the secret ingredient every woman is missing. I'm guessing it's pussy. How to crack the confidence code. Why sex appeal is an inside job. I just don't even want to think about this right now. I don't know if I'm mature enough to read this book, to be honest with you. What's ahead on the next frontier of feminism and how you can help make it happen, and much more. When you open this book, you are being handed the keys to a turned-on life, which simply means authentic, radiant, and open to pleasure and joy. By turns earthy and, I guess I like that acronym, a turned-on life, or being authentic. Wait, Okay, never mind. It's not an acronym. Any other way. By turns earthy and erudite, Erudite, probably mispronouncing that as well. Get used to it. Passionately argued and laugh out loud funny, pussy is your call to tune in, turn on, and live more richly and fully than you ever thought you could. Okay, off to a great start. Praise for pussy. Talk about a tour de force. I am transfixed by the depth humor. I feel like we just read this. Yes. Why are you going to put it on the back if you're just going to put it right here anyway? Anyway, we read that part. More quotes by other people talking, but we already read all the ones we need to read. Okay. Pussy at Reclamation. Regina Thomas Sawyer. Hope I'm pronouncing that. Probably not. It's okay. And it opens up by saying, I dedicate this book to the women who will never hear of it, never even imagine it. Women who are currently living in the darkest corners of the world, whether inner or outer, who cannot even dream of having the luxury to investigate the topics examined in the pages that follow. Like the butterfly effect, may these women somehow feel the impact of our love and devotion to all things women, even from afar. May our radiant light ignite theirs. Chapter 1. First we have the foreword. I think that's what we just read. I'm not sure though. Then we have the introduction, and then we have chapter 1, the call of the goddess. Chapter 2 is reclaiming the pussy. Chapter 3, the great transformer. Chapter 4, clitorisy. Number 5 is the way of the courtesan. Chapter 6 is rupture. Yikes. Chapter 7 is radiance. Chapter 8 is radiant relationship. Chapter 9 is the pleasure revolution. And then you have the afterwards. And we'll read that when we get there. The forward. Talk about a tour de force. I don't know what that means. Can you guys bear with me for a second so I can Google real quick what that means? Tour de force. It means a feat requiring great virtuosity or strength, often deliberately undertaken for its difficulty. A feat of strength or power or skill, demonstrating brilliance or mastery in a field. Tour de force. Okay, now we know. Talk about a tour de force. I am transfixed on the depth. Why do we have to read this again? Already? Seriously? This is the third time we're putting this in this book. Here we go. Humor and game-changing wisdom in this book, and honored to be the wing woman in helping it soar all over planet Earth. I can feel the trajectory of Regina's whole life and her soul's journey singing through every page, with the power to uplift the planet and every creature on it. Regina is one of the most profound and provocative thought leaders in the world today. It is my hope that this book will put her work in the hands of every woman in this world, so that they, like me, can know the life-changing information and practices revealed here. My own initiation into the magic and mystery of the School of Womanly Arts began as the mother of 2 graduates. I got to see my daughters come to life and upgrade their relationships with themselves, with their friends, and with men. I have also been a frequent teacher at the school. Early on, I was lecturing on some aspect of women's wisdom and how it came through the body. Having spent a little time in the audience participating in some of the exercises, I began to make the connection between the experience of pleasure and rapture and its impact on physical health. And so, during a lecture, I asked the students to please come to the microphone and tell me if they had experienced any improvements in their physical health since starting the program at the SWA. I was astounded when the line of women at the microphone went to the back of the room, and then even more astounded as each woman related how her participation in the womanly arts had improved or healed everything from abnormal pap smears, infidelity, and ovarian cyst to lung and breast cancer. It was then I knew that the deliberate pursuit of pleasure not only improved the quality of a woman's life, these things could also save her life. The deliberate pursuit of pleasure. Already an interesting dogma that I don't agree with, but let's keep reading. Okay. There's plenty of science to support the pleasure/health connection. Part of the reason for this has to do with the production of massive amounts of gas called nitric oxide, which is produced by the endothelial lining of the blood vessels during states of joy, pleasure, and ecstasy. And nitric oxide is the uber neurotransmitter that balances all the others, like dopamine, serotonin, and beta endorphin, the same neurotransmitters that so many women try to balance with psych meds and Prozac and Paxil, to name just two. I'm convinced that very few women will need these meds if they understood and applied the power of eros and pleasure in daily life. Like a good mother, a good doctor, and a good scientist, I observe the living, giving power of pleasure in the lives of many daughters and other women. But then I realized that one doesn't reclaim the power of pussy with the intellect. This is a body trip, and as a woman, I too needed to dive into the SWA as a participant, not as some academic expert standing on the sidelines with a notebook in hand. And so I dove in. I took the course, I became a full-fledged sister goddess, I learned how to brag, I learned how to praise other women, I learned the importance of having other sister goddesses in my life, women who no longer participated in the mean girls, quote-unquote, wounding so common in middle school, an artifact of patriarchy from which the majority of adult women never recover unless they are open to being re-educated. My daughters and I also worked through all kinds of mother-daughter chains of pain handed down from prior generations. They had to learn to see me as sensual woman who desired a full, passionate life, not just a mother whose best years were behind her and whose future was limited to caring for grandchildren and other family members. I also sent scores of other women to the SWA knowing the key to women's health and men's health, and planetary health, for that matter, lay in reconnecting with this power source within us. But there's more. I also experienced Regina's uncanny ability to intuit a woman's desires. INTUIT. Intuit a woman's desires long before she herself is aware of them. In other words, Regina is a woman whisperer, and she will wrestle a woman to the ground if need to be to get her to give up her resistance to her own desires and her pleasure. I've never seen anything like it. It's the best show in town. She is such a fearless warrior standing for sisterhood and pleasure. I was not immune. Because of my work at the School of Womanly Arts, my whole life changed. At Regina's suggestion, I took up tango. I was both delighted and terrified, especially when she asked me to perform tango as an entrance for the men's sessions of mastery. In front of hundreds and hundreds of men and women, the very same delight and terror that you might have felt when you first saw this book on the shelf, or chose to pick it up in your hands. Regina had thrown down the gauntlet. Who was I to refuse the initiation? I danced not once, not twice, but 3 times, each year taking it higher and dancing better, each year becoming more and more fearless in my willingness to sink into my body and into my pleasure, and each year attracting a more capable partner. Anyway, not judging. Until finally I landed it. When my tango teacher Paul agreed to go with me and I trusted him completely, just before we took the stage, Paul said, "I've got you." I melted. Goddess never age. Because, as Regina says, reclaiming pussy is not about having sex with a lot of places you've been taught to fear the most. Your orgasm, your period, labor, and birth, menopause, all processes that involve your pussy. And my Streamlabs is kind of buffering real quick, so let me take a moment to clear things up. Sorry about the poor connection, everybody. I don't know why things can't just be working seamlessly. Anyway, we're going to continue reading and hope that it just fixes itself. But probably not. Either way, all processes that involve your pussy. This is where your real power lies. In the sacred temple of your pelvis, right in front of the bone known as the sacrum. The holy bone. The place where the soul enters the body. Really? And so, my charge to all of you, as a doctor who has spent a lifetime assisting women in healing their bodies, is that you have the courage to read Pussy, a Reclamation. But don't just read it. Let the truth of it sink into your body. I'm letting the truth of it sink into my body. Let the truth of it sink into your body, right into your bone marrow. Let this book change your life in the way it has changed mine. Live the message. May you reclaim your radiance, wonder, and the life-giving power of pleasure and eros, right in your body, and thus remember who you are, a goddess. Introduction. Let's see how long this introduction is, because already I'm over my time. Alright, it's a few pages. Alright, we're reading the introduction today. Pussy. It's arguably the most powerful, provocative word in the English language. It is the ultimate salacious smack to a woman's dignity, used when the intention is to hurt, humiliate, and fracture humanity. Pussy is the lowest of the lows for men as well. There is no quicker way to snip a man's balls than to call him one. No clearer way to harm him that his reputation is in dire straits. I don't know if there's not any better way. I can think of like 100 better insults. Any of the ways. Continuing. No one calls me pussy when they want to communicate how radiant and beautiful I look on a certain day. They don't use the word to tell me how expertly and thoroughly I have managed to accomplish a Herculean task. And yet, pussy is all that and more. I am a woman of words, a gift I got from my father. He could jot a short line on a page and express everything he longed to say, but lacked the social skill to impart. I grew up with him reading the Bible aloud. Every Friday night, I was raised to have great respect and reverence for the power of language, for the way a simple, well-placed word could launch a movement or a philosophy, the way a single word could change the course of history. My favorite book ever was the dictionary I received in junior high school. A cherished pastime was searching out the etymology of my favorite words, each turn of the page unpacking words of history. My problem? In all the millions of words I found between the covers of that beloved book, I could not find one single word that described me. No word that indicated my huge capacity to feel, no elusive and ever-changing cyclical nature, my raw femaleness. I actually think it's off to a good start now. My delicacy, my shyness, my strength, my yearning to be seen and known and loved and gotten. No word, not one. We can learn just as much about a culture from what it's missing as from what it embraces. One of the greatest pieces of unconscious conditioning we have in our Western culture is that we do not teach our children the name of the source of our feminine power. Ask my students at the School of Womanly Arts what they were taught to call their genitals as a child, and you'll get a parade of colloquialisms: wiki, cuckoo, privates, down there, pooter, peewee, and fine china. Name and address: venue or Venus, Noonie, Miss Kitty, purse. The list goes on and on. Those who were taught a more direct word were often taught to call it vagina, the clinical term that is also psychologically incorrect. But what's worse, physiologically incorrect. What's worse, the majority of women were taught to call it nothing at all. When we have no common language to describe that which is most essentially feminine about us, we have no way to locate and own our power as women. As my dad used to read to us on Friday nights, in the beginning was the Word. When there was no word, there is no beginning. How would you talk about an interconnected global computer network providing information and communication faculties via standard technological protocols if you did not have the word internet? Yet, our culture gives us no way to talk about the place where our power and, in fact, all of life comes from. It's this very feminine power that is missing from all the successful stories we hear. It's what leaves Sheryl Sandberg, one of the most productive women in America, revealing in a New York profile that she's felt like a fraud all of her life. It's what has fashion designer Dane von Furstenberg admit on CBS this morning that she wakes up every day feeling like a loser. It's what has Gayle King, who was interviewing von Furstenberg, reply that she wakes up every morning feeling fat. It's what has Shonda Rhimes observe in her book Year of Yes that she and every other woman she knows push away compliments and are unable to receive appreciation and approval. It's what has so many female grad students settling for assistant teaching while their male counterparts had their own classrooms. According to Linda Babcock, a professor of economics at Carnegie Mellon University and the co-author of Women Don't Ask, her very own dean explained the differential. More men ask, the women just don't ask. It's what has men initiate salary negotiations 4 times more often than women do. It's why when women do negotiate, they ask for 30% less than men. I have been preoccupied with the question of why women have this limited ability to access their power and voice, that nothing they do seems to ameliorate. Ameliorate. I'm gonna need to keep spare paper around here to write all these words down. Too bad this isn't my book, because those are pretty good words, if anything. So it's where did it go? Eliorate. Ameliorate. Blah 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 blah. Don't even know. But ameliorate or resolve. As I look around the world of women, it seems as if our lights are off. We are turned off like a light switch. The bulb is in there, but it sure isn't lit up. And it's no wonder we have all been taught to turn off, to turn away. Turn away from the homeless person begging for change. Turn away from the impact of climate change that we each deepen with our daily actions and inactions. Turn off from our own emotions. No one had to teach us to turn off. Our culture models it, with actions so much louder than words. So many of us were taught to back away from our strong emotions, to find them embarrassing, ridiculous even. So many of us were taught to keep a lid on anything and everything outrageous, to just turn it off. We turn off our life force, turn off our feelings, turn off our sensuality, and as a consequence, we turn off our power. When we live in a world that cannot even comprehend its own inherent bigotry against women, and thus cannot step forward to honor or support the women and girls who have been devastated by it, what is the recourse? How do we stand up to invisible assault that does not want to be made visible? How does a woman weather, let alone triumph, over such a global denial of her experience? How does she locate a pathway to mend, strengthen, and remake herself in a world that does not recognize she is broken? How does she turn on when she has been systematically denied, passed over, and subjugated? Where is the opportunity in the storyline for the victim to become the heroine? How do we, as women, reconsecrate? That's another word I'm about to write down. Reconsecrat. God, it's good to be reading again, learning new words. Reconsecrate our holiness after we have been defiled, turned off, and ignored all of our lives. The solution for the epidemic of powerlessness among women, which neither great success nor higher education is able to solve, is simple: reconnecting a woman to her pussy. Just as pussy is the source of all human life, pussy is the source of each woman's connection to her own life force, her voice, and her sense of internal power. When a woman turns on her pussy, she is actually turning on her life force and connecting to her divinity. My life's work has been about creating this very pathway for women, the missing pathway out of victimhood and into our own inherent radiance, a pathway that does not depend on anything or anyone, but rather places the power firmly in a woman's own hands. When she designs and then lives her own destiny, a woman naturally sets right everything wrong in our world. But the first steps is the most crucial. She has to get right with her own pussy. More than right, she has to turn on the most disparaged, maligned, and unknown part of herself. As the woman behind the School of Womanly Arts, a multi-million-dollar women's educational institution based in New York City, I have made it my mission and my purpose to reclaim our power, to reclaim pussy, starting with the very word. I do it through this course I teach, where I usher hundreds of women through personal growth and transformation. I take women on a journey that includes historic reckoning, sensual awakening, psychological reconfiguration, and spiritual and physical reconnection. I immerse my students in the womanly tools and arts and invite them into a sustainable community of thousands of sisters they can learn from and depend on, and extend their growth and transformation throughout the rest of their lives. The School of Womanly Arts, which I'll refer to throughout this book as the SWA, is created of women by women and for women. It is not so secret purpose is to initiate each student into full possession of her inalienable, indefatigable, Jesus Christ, In def, we got INDEFATIGABLE. Indefatigable. Whatever. An indestructible feminine spirit. In the face of life's eternal ongoing challenges, a woman who graduates from our programs takes with her a sense of connection to her irrevocable power, a depth of confidence previously unimaginable, and a righteousness understanding of her value during this time and place on earth, which is limitless, by the way. Alright, don't let anyone ever tell you otherwise. Alright. Picture this, a room filled with the cracking connection, pulsing energy of hundreds of women standing together in sisterhood, some for the first time, some as core community members for years, all instantly bonded. Every key of a woman's emotional, physical, and spiritual keyboard is invited to play. We rage madly together, weep to our ancient bones together, and raise the roof dancing in rapturous celebration of the privilege of life itself. Together, each woman feeling more herself because of the presence of the others. And that is precisely what is going to happen for you in reading this book. You are going to connect more powerfully than you could ever have imagined to your deepest intuition, your sacred feminine power, and your voice that needs to be heard. I am going to give you some of the exercises that I use in the SWA Mastery Program, so you won't just read about what's possible. You will actually experience incredible changes inside yourself as you practice along with me. In this book, this is a disclaimer, by the way. In this book, I am going to use the distinctions, man and women, as a structure for talking about the masculine and feminine forces in the world. I know and love all my readers, gay, straight, bi, transgender, and otherwise. And this book is for women of all orientations. Masculine and feminine energies are at work in all individuals, in all relationships, and in the world in general. The majority of us have been taught so much about our masculine energies and very, very little about our feminine energies, resulting in a challenging imbalance both individually and collectively. This book will rebalance your inner scales. Regardless of sexual preference or gender identity, we all have masculine and feminine within us. The feminine force is primarily responsible for desire. The masculine force is primarily responsible for the production of that desired. The masculine is the rock, the feminine is the wave crashing against the rock. In same-sex relationships, these roles are often swapped back and forth, but they are often swapped in hetero relationships as well. Sometimes a hetero woman will enjoy slipping into her masculine, and a hetero man will enjoy inhabiting his feminine. I will do my best to pay tribute to all the differential constructs as I write, and for clarity I will use men and women as reference points. My goal is to allow you to really crystallize the difference between masculine and feminine energies, regardless of which bodies they are showing up in. That way, all of us can begin to truly enjoy the polarity between and the union of these two forces in our world. This book is my offering. It contains everything I have learned, everything I have longed to share with the wider audience that could possibly fit into the enormous ballrooms and theaters where I meet my students each year. It will walk you through the journey that each woman takes in the mastery program, which mirrors the journey that each woman takes in her life. The centerpiece of the protocol, you guessed it, a reclamation of the very source of her feminine power. We begin with the reconciliation that is tragic in its very necessity. I reacquaint each student with that part of herself that is the key to everything she has ever been looking for, but has been pushed into shadow, into shame. A part that has, for all intents and purposes, gone underground, unnameable, undiscussable. Would I begin this reconciliation but in the way our very word began with a word. In the beginning was the Word. The Word, my darlings, is pussy. And with this word I intend to return that word to its rightful place as the highest of all possible compliments, as a sacred living prayer. A little extreme, but I don't think that was the first word ever spoken into existence. Could be, though. Maybe I'm wrong. And that's the introduction, guys. It's been a while. I'm glad we're reading again. At least we're learning new words. That's all I can say about this so far. So, that's all we got for now. That's the book, Pussy, a Reclamation. And tomorrow we'll be reading The Call of the Goddess, Chapter 1. Thanks for tuning in, guys, for now. I appreciate it. And frankly, sadly, I gotta go. It's time for me to go golfing. And I'm being serious. So, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. Peace out.
To myself, I've seen something that is floating across that edge. Is it possible that God has been with me the whole time on this broken set? Just wanna be heard above the wall.